Hey guys, and welcome back to the Deep Threats Podcast. It is KJAM. As always, your host of the show. We are going to be here talking football today. I just want to give you a heads up. If you haven't checked your rosters, please do now. You have a 9:30 a.m. game in London, and we will get into talking about that. But before we do, you always have my wonderful co-host who's here every Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Well, he tries to be. Wheels, he's right here.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We have our second 9:30 game today, and the Jaguars stayed at their home. And I'm sorry, the Jaguars stayed in London, not their home. They're away today, but they're home. They're paying the bills, so make sure, like he said, check your lineups. You have an early game. I'm not sure of the injuries. There has, at least that I have seen, there has not been many for that game. I feel like we're echoing.
Yeah. This is me again.
Amateur hour.
Oh, I muted the wrong TV. Actually, I don't even know why that TV's volumed up, but we are echoing. Good catch.
Oh, no, it's because I was watching SportsCenter earlier.
Good catch. Good catch. Oh, so it's your fault.
Yeah, it's my fault.
It's not my fault this time, guys. It's not my fault. For all you guys that are up at 8 a.m., I'm glad to have you here. For all you guys that show up later, well, you're not hearing me now, so it doesn't matter. We're going to get into this today. We're going to talk a little bit about this early game. But before we do, how about that Thursday game?
That Thursday, I don't know as much if that was a statement game for Chicago or a blunder for Washington.
I mean, did Washington play that bad outside of the 2 interceptions?
Outside of the bad interceptions by Sam Howell, which you're going to have with a quarterback of his,
You wanted to say stature, but you meant like tenure, essentially. He hasn't been in the league long enough.
He's young. He's a 5th-round pick. He's got a new OC, Eric Bieniemy, which is trying to work with him. I absolutely love him.
And we said that they weren't overutilizing him, and I think this might have been the game where it was like a little too much.
I think what they did is, they opened up more of the playbook for him.
By the way, thanks, Scary Terry, for not catching 6 balls.
Oh, that hurt.
Cost me $70.
You know what cost me $210? The fact that Logan Thomas, you couldn't reach like a yard more to get that first down because I had both of them going for their first drive first downs. I had every other pick. I lost $210.
That's funny.
$10 for $210. But, I swear, I have these 12, 13 leg parlays, and it's always 1 or 2 that screw me, and they're heavy payout. And my wife's like, "Oh, you should just take less." I'm like, "Yeah, but I want more. I want more."
To her defense, I did like a parlay on this game, and it's like a 4-leg parlay of $5, and I did the boost for FanDuel.
Yeah.
They give you a profit boost, and it's like a $40 return for $5. So like,
that's not bad.
I'm not opposed, and I think it's a very easy gettable line. I just don't like touchdowns. All right, I stay away from anytime touchdowns. I'm not a fan of it because it's the easiest rigged play in the NFL. So if we're going to rig something, it's going to be anytime touchdowns.
Anytime, yeah.
Just throwing that out there. I'm not saying it's accurate. I'm not saying it's rigged.
I don't disagree. So
it's just the easiest one to fudge.
No, 100%. And going back to the game, I think with Sam Howell, Eric Bieniemy and Ron Rivera, you were comfortable with the previous games that he had played for Washington and how his progression has gone, other than the bad 3-interception game. You take that out. I think they opened up more playbook for him to see, how much more they could utilize him in the passing game for deep throws and more of an RPO play action type of thing. And with those schemes that they were running, Chicago's defense, if you watch that defense, was leaving a floating safety in the box. So he would either drop back in coverage and come back up to blitz or play towards coverage, going against the RPO that runs, stuff like that. But as you watched, as Chicago started scoring, they went more to a 2 deep safty kind of cover 2 defense. And
I heard they played a lot of prevent defense, which is how Sam Howell got his yardage.
Exactly. So if that was a game of 2 halves for Sam Howell, and I only watched the first half, taking into consideration for how he played. That's how I considered him to play the whole game, was how that first half played, and it was not good. So I think that right now Sam Howell seems to be having a trouble reading defenses, and Chicago kind of maybe has seen that coming into watching tape and stuff like that. So that could very well be what's going on with that team right now. But time will tell with that. He's a 5th-round pick, second-year guy. Not everybody can read defenses really well. I mean, Baker took a couple years to read some defenses here in Cleveland. I mean, Peyton Manning, again, had a horrible rookie season. He came out his second year and did very well. So, I mean, like I said, I give guys 3 years until I call him bust. I'm not at all going to call Sam Howell a bust. I think right now Sam Howell has a lot better upside right now than Kenny Pickett does for a first-round pick. What say you?
I can't. I mean, when you look at that draft class, I mean, Sam Howell is performing to what I thought he would, but the problem with Sam Howell was, like, I didn't think he was a starter.
No, so
I think that if they could go get another quarterback, I still think they'd all be better than Sam Howell. I think the OC and I think the players around Sam Howell make Sam Howell better than he actually is personally.
Yes, yeah. So it's more of a I don't say Brock Purdy because Brock Purdy's a very good 7th-round pick, but it's more of an aspect of that, good players around you is going to make me play better. Is how you're coming from it, which I completely understand. But I do think that every single quarterback coming out, this Drake May, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, I like them all immensely better than Sam Howell right now.
Yes. Yeah, I would say in this draft class, I would take those top 4 guys over Sam Howell. But the only issue with that is that when you do look at a guy like Sam Howell, there is experience, and we just said the tenure, if you get experience and you have consistency at offensive line, you have consistency at wide receiver, you have consistency at head coach, that is a build for you to succeed in the NFL. Look at Josh Allen, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's a positive. Look at Patrick Mahomes, right? Consistency. And now they lost their left tackle.
Yep.
I mean, and there's things not looking so
good for Washington.
Flush for Kansas City.
Yeah,
I mean, Kansas City's offense is not the most
we'll talk
explosive
about that
offense.
Whole situation, yeah, but
all right, we're gonna get into the 9:30 game first.
Yes,
and then we'll come back to our topic of the day, which we were gonna have, which was statistical top 5 quarterbacks
and we're gonna
in the NFL.
We're gonna get some heat for that,
and I'm sure we're gonna get heat. But let's be honest, it's about the stats. So when you're ranking these guys, I'm looking at certain stats and I'm looking at where they land. There's actually 2 guys that I thought were gonna make my top 5 that didn't. I'm glad they didn't because it would have upset probably the world, but they didn't. That being said, let's jump into this game. We have this another wonderful, wonderful London game. It is the Jacksonville Jaguars at London at
home.
Buffalo. It's a weird at situation because it's not a home game. It's not an away game. It is a traveling game. But we all know that Jacksonville now officially has the most experience in London. I think Buffalo's a 2.
It's either Buffalo or Atlanta.
Okay, so Atlanta might be a 2.
Atlanta's played quite a few games there. I know Miami.
I screwed up that stat. Buffalo is 3-1. For some reason, that did not adapt. Buffalo is 3-1 on that graphic. I apologize, guys.
Yeah, Buffalo's 3-1. I think Jacksonville or Miami was up there too with Ryan Tannehill because I remember a couple of early games back in like 2017 where they were first kind of going into London. They played quite a bit in London.
So, and I think that's because they were talking about moving both of those teams.
Well,
there was a lot of talk.
Not to hate on any franchise. There's a reason you move
meaning to hate on that franchise.
There's a reason why you move some teams that haven't done so well in primetime games to a primetime slot in London is because you know what? Maybe it's not
good viewership.
It's not going to be the greatest game, but you know what? Exposure for the NFL, and that's exactly what they're doing in London.
Good point.
And they
Buffalo,
love it. They
Buffalo
love it.
versus the home team, which we would call
Jacksonville's at home. They travel. They travel.
This joke will never get old for me because until Jacksonville moves, then it'll just become fact.
Yeah,
it won't be a joke anymore.
And honestly, Jacksonville should move to London because I think that would be
There's 3 Florida teams, right? You got Tampa Bay, Jacksonville, and Miami.
Yeah,
so there's 3 Florida teams.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Just taking one team out of?
Yeah. Jacksonville would. I know that would be hard on the players, but that would be one of the greatest things for the NFL right now is to move a team to London.
You know who else you should move? The Giants.
Yeah, out of New Jersey, they probably should. I mean, they should move off.
And then
Daniel
the Jets
Jones
can just
too.
be the NJJs, the New Jersey Jets. And then you have Buffalo, which would be the one New York team.
They're not considered Buffalo to my friend. They're considered Canada. Aaron thinks they're from
that
Canada.
is insane.
So our running joke is, well, Buffalo's from Canada. Okay, then the Jets are from New Jersey.
That is
But
insane.
the Jets are really from New
Minnesota's
Jersey.
from Canada.
Technically, if you look at the map.
Minnesota's farther north than Buffalo, aren't they? Eh? You got more Canucks in Minnesota than you do in Buffalo, eh?
A.
Anyways, how do you see this game going? Is this like a Buffalo dominance game?
No, this is a Josh Allen back down to earth game. I think with the
Miami's defense is bad. They are bad. They're 30.
Jacksonville.
No, last week.
Miami's
defense is bad. They are 31st in points allowed in the NFL. I think Denver is number 2 because the Miami put up 70 on Denver. And they're first in overall offense, I think.
Yeah.
So like it's and a lot of that it's week 5, so a lot of that's skewed because of the Denver game.
Yes.
And like Miami got 70 and Denver put up 70, so like boom, flip-flop. I think before that game, Miami might have been 32nd overall in points allowed.
Yeah.
Because they were winning games, but like they were still giving up 30 points a game.
I figured that like I said, that Miami game was very weird for me. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I wasn't going in that very optimistic. This game, I'm definitely not going in optimistic. You have Jacksonville, who has played last weekend in London, and they stayed over that a whole week to play again in London. So, they're getting used to the time difference, all that. They've played there multiple times. Buffalo, you have them coming in, kind of getting, maybe they're jet lagged. Who knows? They came in, I believe, on either Thursday night or Friday morning. And I think that's going to have some effect on the game. So I see this a one-score game to Buffalo's advantage. I see them winning. But I don't know if Josh Allen's going to be throwing as well as he has done the last few weeks since that Jets game, because that's ever since that Jets loss, he has had something on his shoulder where he's like, you know what? Screw you. Watch how I play football.
All right, so I'm looking at the injuries, right? Zay Jones is questionable. Jamal Agnew is questionable. Josh Allen, their linebacker, is probable, which is he needs to play.
Josh Allen, Josh Allen.
That's another one of those games. But he needs to play because Josh Allen does have Josh Allen's number.
Exactly.
So
Josh Allen I believe it was last year, intercepted and strip sacked him.
Devin Lloyd out. That could be.
That's a big. He's a linebacker, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big implication on the run game, and for the tight end against Knox, because he would be covering Knox, I would feel like.
Yeah, so here's what I'm going to say. Well, and Dawson Knox is questionable with a quadricep. So he's probable.
Yeah, but you have
but he's got a quadricep
Dalton
issue.
Kincaid.
So it's a Dalton Kincaid game,
yes,
I see.
Is.
Especially because when I'm looking at this, Buffalo's wide receivers are all healthy. So you have Stephon Diggs healthy, Gabe Davis healthy. But here's my issue with Buffalo is their defense is going to come down to earth again today.
Yeah, and
but Von is back.
Is he back officially?
Yeah, he's probable. But I'm pretty sure Von's back.
He'll be on a snap count. He'll probably play.
Yeah, but Gregory Rousseau is probably out, which is huge.
That's big for D tackle.
Because he's doubtful with a foot injury. Shaq Lawson,
it's another big
questionable with a toe injury. So when I see foot injuries, I see snap counts, and I see that maybe they're out there on third and short or third and long.
Yeah,
but they're not there first and second downs.
You're there on the impact plays. That's where hey, we need to get a stop here. Go out there. Just do your job real quick. Jordan
Poyer, probable knee injury.
So this is the whole thing I had with Buffalo secondary. It's old and injury prone.
Well, I don't know if it's injury prone, but it is old. It is old.
That's where that Buffalo, just real quick, has not been able to draft well. The secondary. They have drafted almost every other position pretty decently. But secondary, I don't know if maybe their scouts just aren't seeing what these other teams are seeing, or maybe they're just not putting secondary as high as they should be, but as of right now, you guys need some secondary help. Buffalo needs to get some depth in that secondary and youth, because if you do not, you're going to be in the same situation that like some of these other teams are, where you're relying on that defensive line and you have spotty corners.
I think this is the K Adams bet on FanDuel. Buffalo Bills money line, Stephon Diggs anytime touchdown score, which I told you I don't like. I don't like them.
I don't like touchdown scores.
But Calvin Ridley 40 plus,
yep.
And then T-Law 250 plus. So, and the reason I'm taking T-Law is because Poyer, right? And we're assuming Buffalo is going to go up quick. So you're going to have to sling it.
So last week was a Christian Kirk game, right, in London?
It's a Calvin Ridley game today. I see a Calvin Ridley game today. Like, if you have Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk, I personally, and again, don't listen to a fucking word I say, because I can be wrong and I have been. I like Calvin Ridley in this game over 6+ touches, over 100 yards in this game.
So we kind of agree with the wide receiver type of points. Same with the A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith type of thing. it's going to be 1A, 1B. They'll have their game, then they'll have their game. And I completely agree with that in London.
Very rarely, do you have a Miami situation where you could just throw out Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the same team, and they're going to continuously perform.
But Waddle hasn't done anything this year other than the first game.
He had an injury. And I've said this is an issue with these guys and it's not because these guys are injury prone, it's they're overused. And that's why I kind of like, God forbid, Miami gets a defense. I kind of like what they're doing on offense is right now they're running heavy.
Yeah.
They're not really forcing the pass. They're running heavy. And they've ran the last 3 games probably over 200 yards per game, which keeps Tyreek Hill healthy and it keeps Jalen Waddle healthy for further in the season.
And also keeps healthy your quarterback because he's not dropping back and to throw as much.
He's not as liable in the pocket.
But this is what we've always said. As soon as a team goes up, they need to run. And that's what Buffalo's doing. They go up by 10 points. They're going to pass, but they're not passing as heavily as they have been the entire game. Or that's where they're
you know what? It's funny.
Run.
It's a fun. I think that's a fun head game, right? Like you sit there and you play. Okay, if I'm Buffalo, I go up by 2 scores, right? And then I sit there and go, but do I want to go up further? Because we know Jacksonville can sling it. And if Jacksonville has to sling it, it's going to be an increasingly complicated game. Yeah. But if I keep it just within reach and let Jacksonville feel like they can run the ball, we have the number 1 overall defense. We can stop.
And it comes down to the 4-minute offense a lot of the times is what quarterback do you trust more for the 4-minute offense? Trevor Lawrence? Or
Neither.
Josh Allen?
Neither? I think that both of them give up. This year, I would say Josh Allen.
Through 4 games.
Josh Allen has protected the ball very well this year.
Outside of that Jets game.
Yep. But again, we're talking the Jets, and that was the beginning of the year.
And the Jets, and that was the best defense coming into the NFL this year.
They looked
like it that week 1. But yeah,
that'll be a fun game to talk about later. I can't wait to get to that game. Speaking of that game, I almost had somebody in my list just to piss the world off, but he statistically has gotten better and better every week. So let's fantasy wise, right? Yeah. Who do we like in these games? Is this a Miles Sanders Chuba game? Is this?
No, I think it's a passing.
It's not either of those guys because it's the wrong team. I just want to see if you'd catch me again.
No, it's Travis Etienne.
It's the Carolina. I always do the Carolina thing to you, and you catch it, but you didn't catch it this time.
No, it's the same freaking type of animal, pretty much.
Yeah, literally just change the color of the logo.
But no, so Etienne, I think they're going to involve Etienne more in the past this week. They've been utilizing him as a.
So that gives the T-Law plus 250.
Yeah, so T-Law will have 250, 100%. There's no doubt in my mind.
There is somebody, by the way, this week that I don't have going 250 that should be, but we'll talk about it later. Sorry, that stuff pops in my head. It's like
that's 80.
Not maybe. It just I have numbers going through my head constantly. So T-Law plus 250, right?
Yes.
Calvin Ridley, what do we like there? I told you 6 and 100 is what I liked.
685 and a touchdown.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. Let me change. 685 Christian Kirk, 4 receptions and a touchdown.
Oh, so you got Kirk with a touchdown. Okay, what about Evan Ingram?
Evan Ingram, is he healthy? Fully healthy?
I haven't seen an issue with him.
Evan Ingram, depending on how this running game goes for Jacksonville.
I think Evan Ingram also depends on if Von Miller's there.
But I think Von Miller's only going to be playing third downs personally. I don't think he's going to be out there for all 3.
Okay.
So I think that's where Evan Ingram may shine today, but I don't see Evan Ingram having over 60 yards.
So you're like 5 for 60 or something like that?
Yeah.
All right. Etienne,
I have 60 rushing yards and 60 passing yards.
How many
and
receptions?
A touchdown. 6, and.
Did you do that on purpose? 666? No. You liar. You liar. Okay, so Etienne has a 25 point day.
I think
so. Etienne's a stardom for you, 100%. What about T-Law? You like T-Law in this game, stardom wise?
I do. I start T-Law over a couple other quarterbacks we'll talk about later.
Okay, I actually haven't benched in one league, so
really?
I need to hear your thoughts on this. Why start T-Law? Actually, I'll even give you my roster.
Secondary, 2 great wide receivers and a tight end. You have Etienne, who I think they're going to involve more in the passing game that they haven't been recently.
I lied. I had to start T-Law today. Gino's on a bye.
Oh yeah, Gino has been Gino's been.
We're not going to get there. It's a bye week. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, he's on a bye week. So if you don't realize that you don't have DK, Tyreek, Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker, JSN, or Gino today, they're on bye weeks.
So the bye weeks this week are Cleveland Browns, the Chargers,
Tampa Bay, Seattle. I think that's it.
Seattle, Tampa Bay,
I think that's
Chargers, Browns. Yeah, there's only 4.
Yeah, the early week is 4. It's not till like week 7 you have 8 teams.
So
we actually have that written down.
This
Let's take a look at that.
That just begs the question again. That just they just need to do bye weeks by division.
Get off that. We did that earlier. All right, Buffalo stardoms.
Buffalo stardoms: Josh Allen, James Cook, Gabe Davis, and Stephon Diggs.
So just start the offense. But do you like Dalton Kincaid as a flex or is a tight end? If you have Dawson Knox, obviously I would start Dalton Kincaid over Dawson Knox this week.
Especially depending on where
it's a quadricep injury, so it's not going to keep him out. But these are those type of injury. Yes, 100%.
They're probably going to sit him because they don't want him hurt farther.
And if they go up by 2, you're going to get more Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah,
you're going to see less Knox, more Kincaid.
Kincaid is a better blocker than Knox.
I'll have to take a look at that. I didn't know that.
The problem is James Cook. You have who's behind James Cook? I can't remember.
Latavius Murray. Lat Murray that my wife dropped.
He is I
told her to drop him, though.
I would, too. Other than him maybe getting a red zone couple looks for touchdown, I don't see him doing much, so I'd stay away from him in some of the deeper leagues unless you absolutely have to start him. Dalton Kincaid, I would start, again, 12-14 man league. I would start both tight ends in that league. Other than that, Josh Allen, I have thrown for 300 yards.
Just an FYI, Jacksonville's 1-0 on the road.
They're at home.
They're on the road.
They're at home. They're at home.
Whatever.
Jacksonville's at home in London. Get out of here on the road. My ass, they're on the road.
That's so funny.
Come on.
That's so funny. Offensively, Buffalo's ranked in the top 10 just about everywhere.
Who have they played defense-wise?
Jets.
But that was a bad game.
It's only 4 weeks.
You played Buffalo.
We're not putting Jacksonville up there with.
No.
Okay. As long as we were on the same page. No. Defensively, I'm not putting Jacksonville anywhere near. I would probably say Jacksonville's defense is slightly better than Miami's.
I would put Jacksonville's defense at about 27th overall.
Also slightly better than Miami's. They're 31st.
They're not good. I don't know what's going on with that team. I don't know if their heads are too big. They have
Doug
too
Peterson, or is that Carolina?
It's not Carolina.
Doug Peterson's in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Which one's in Carolina? I can never remember.
I have no idea. Here it doesn't matter because Bryce Young's not doing anything. Going back to Jacksonville. Doug Peterson, I don't know if it's a Doug Peterson thing or is Jacksonville kind of had their heads full from last season where nobody really was considering them with all the changes they made. But
so against the run,
against
the run, Jacksonville is actually 9. And then rushing attempts, they're 8. So they're really not allowing much on the ground. But outside of that, everywhere else, they're 20.
But you said they have some injuries.
Yeah, but I don't know. But usually when you excel, injuries don't matter too much when the overall defense is playing.
If Devin Lloyd and Josh Allen are out, that's going to hurt your second or your.
But Devin Lloyd I think might be out, but Josh Allen is probable. So I don't think he'll be out, but it's easy for him to go out in a situation like that. Here's your betting odds today, right? So Jacksonville is the underdog by 5.5, and the over is 48.5 right now. So I would take Buffalo in this game personally. I got Buffalo money line. I like the over on this. 48.5. I like the over on this. I see another like Miami kind of feeling in the game.
Stir up betting odds.
You're just going to throw it on the under or something like that?
Fuck no. I do milestones I do play. So I used to do these crazy parlays for teams, and I never made money. I've made a good chunk of money the last month of football.
Yeah, because we've actually been doing way too much research, and we actually overestimate things sometimes.
Props. So in the last month, I've made maybe $1,000 off of betting, which isn't bad. I'll take it. I'll take it.
I'm waiting for the camera upgrade, bro. Where have you been at?
Furniture. It's furniture.
Oh,
debt.
that's why your wife's okay with it. You're making so much money off of betting, you're allowed to talk football.
Paying off debt.
You got 3 jobs right now. It's
Yeah.
betting, doing yard work, and working in a factory. And he's still here, guys. He's still here.
I still find time. I'm stretched thin, but I'm never.
I don't know if he
stretched
finds
too
time. We
thin.
create time. We have
yeah.
24-hour days. There's sleeps for the dead.
Yeah,
I
there's
tell people
sleeps.
this all the time.
I slept maybe on Friday to Saturday. I think I slept maybe 4 hours.
So you like the 48.5 over under? Like, where you at on that one?
So
I like the over
if
on that.
I have Josh Allen throwing for 300 yards and
T-Loft throwing for 250 plus.
I would have to go with the over, right? With that yardage, you're gonna score.
I think you'd have to go with the over.
You have to. You have. There's no way you can't.
Yeah, I mean, Miami put up, what, 24, 28 on Buffalo?
Miami put up 24 on Buffalo.
I could see Jacksonville putting up 24.
Yeah. I think this is going to be... I don't know if this is going to be as bad as that Miami game.
We just said Jacksonville's defense is slightly better than Miami's, so I see 35-24.
Yeah. I can see,
not 48-24.
Touchdown, 10 points is where I have the difference.
Yeah.
But if I have them scoring
35-24 is the 11.
So we're over.
Yeah, we're over. Yeah. That's what I see.
Yeah. Which I completely agree with.
Yeah, that's like 54-55.
I would take the over on that then.
Yeah.
You have to.
All right, let's get out of this morning game. Let's make sure we get through the games today, and then we'll go into quarterbacks. Because we just took 25 minutes on
one game.
Not one game, because we talked a little bit on the intro, but we took a while. All right, moving into the first game. Okay, that's right. All right, we have the Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts, a divisional game of running backs. We have Jonathan Taylor back in the house for $43 million over 3 years, and he is getting paid a Nick Chubb contract. I asked you guys this in the offseason, what solves this issue for JT? And the issue seems to be solved through money, as always. And it looks like JT is staying in Indianapolis Colt. He is going to play Week 5 at the NFL. They said, well, I don't think they said, Sleeper said, so I'm going to stay very cautious on the statements that I make here. Because a lot of news is unofficial news. And based on what we've seen with Jonathan Taylor, we've seen a lot of unofficial news. Yes. So they say that Jonathan Taylor's on a snap count today. I would agree with that statement just because Zach Moss has been performing so well. But if Jonathan Taylor breaks off, Zach Moss will immediately go to number 2, and Jonathan Taylor will have some fun. That being said, how do you see this game going today, Wheels?
Anthony Richardson's going to run all over.
It's like A.A. Rodgers, like, hey, Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson's going to run all over Tennessee.
You think? I mean, Tennessee has like a top 10 rushing defense.
This is going to be a heavy rushing game from each team. Derrick Henry.
Just an FYI, Tennessee's favored by 2.5, which to me I think is absurd. And they are in Indy.
Favored? They're giving?
Yeah.
What?
I think I just looked at it. I think it just said 2.5.
That game makes no sense at all.
Yeah, Tennessee's favored 2.5. The over/under is actually increased since Jonathan Taylor came back. It's 43.5. The over/under. I like Indy in this game personally, so I would take Indy to win this game. And I don't like the under because ever since Anthony Richardson's been on this team, they've been putting up 20-something points a game. Tennessee is the problem, right? Like Tennessee's the problem, but Indy's defense isn't anything to like get crazy about.
I think the issue with Indy is Anthony Richardson hasn't been super healthy all season.
I wonder if I would have just checked covers.com because it says Jonathan Taylor ankle injury probable. Nothing about a back.
What?
Nothing. Dude, it literally says ankle was the injury, which is the lingering injury, the high ankle sprain from last year. Huh. Sorry, I'm just noticing the fake news out there.
Oh, that messed me up. What? There was a back injury.
They said it was a back injury, did they not?
That whole situation's weird. So I don't know. They're not going to allow.
Fake
I don't think
news.
I don't think JT's going to be back. You know, I don't think he's running 20 times to this game. I think if it's a true injury, you know, this will be the game. We'll see.
Treylon Burks is out, by the way.
Okay. We'll see if this is so. If JT only runs like 10 times, then he had an injury. But if he runs more than 15, there was no injury, and this was purely contract speculation, or this was purely contract discussion, and that's what we'll see today. So if they can get the running game started with JT or Zach Moss against Tennessee, I have Indy winning by 3. So they'll cover. Or no, they won't cover.
No. Indy by 3, Tennessee would cover 2.5. So Indy by 3 just means you're taking Indy.
I take Indy. I don't know wide receivers. I start Michael Pittman, and I would start Alec Pierce. Because I think
Josh Downs.
Instead of Alec Pierce?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Alec,
Okay.
Here's the thing with Alec Pierce. I love Alec Pierce's potential downfield, but he's getting like 1 to 4 targets a game, if that.
So
he's catching them.
Is he like a Khalil Shakir, Gabe Davis?
Yeah, it's feeling that way. It's feeling Rashid Shaheed. Like, it's feeling like he's a downfield kind of guy. And Anthony Richardson really likes Josh Downs. When whatchamacallit was in Minshew, I like Alec Pierce more because Minshew's a little more gutsy with the ball, whereas Anthony Richardson's like
protective
2.5, 3.5 step drop back, and that ball's out, and it's out on fire. There's not a lot of loft to it. You're not giving the guy time to get to it.
It's right to the hands.
Yeah, so I like Josh Downs. And what's you said Michael Pittman?
Yeah, I would start Pittman.
I like Pittman.
I sit Zach Moss. You sit Zach Moss until you figure out the whole situation right now with JT.
I'm playing both of them.
Really?
I'm murdered by bye week, though.
Okay. So that makes sense why you're playing both.
I'm playing both Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor this week because I have Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, and actually, I think that might be it. My team this season was in on Kenneth Walker and JT. My team was in on those two all season. And then my backups were P. Ryan, who we'll get to that a little bit later, but that was my backup. So getting into this a little bit deeper, Indy is like 28th overall in defensive ranking. And to be honest, Tennessee is not really high on offensive ranking. And then we flip that. Indy is a little higher on offensive ranking in passing yards and pass attempts, and Tennessee is very good against the run, like top 5. So this is a week why I like JT, because Zach Moss struggles against top 5 defenses when it comes to the run, and JT's more versatile, and he's also a receiving back, unlike Zach Moss. So that's kind of why I like JT possibly showing up in this game and doing what Breece Hall did when they said he was on a snap count. Do you remember that week 1 Breece Hall? It was like 150 yards.
He hasn't done anything since, which is
well,
odd.
That's because you lost your quarterback, and the game plan is rush only. So, but that's why I like JT in this game. I personally would start JT over Zach Moss if I had to, but I have both, so I'm starting both of them. But that being said, man, like, I understand why the over-under on this game is 43.5, because both these teams offensively aren't like anything. Like, they're bottom of the barrel. They're 20th, 22nd maybe overall, both of these teams. So when you're looking at both these teams, like, defenses, I understand why Tennessee's favored. I understand why Tennessee's favored by 2.5. So, but I will take... I don't think people understand that when you look at the Colts, they've played some good teams. So, I mean, I'll take... I mean, they've played the Ravens. They've played the Texans. They've played... I'm trying to think who else they played. And they beat the Ravens. And I think Tennessee... Yeah, I'll take the Colts. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm doing like circles in my head, because when you know how you do that, this team beat that team, but this team beat this team, but this team beat that team, but this team beat your team, and you get in that circle. I see the Tennessee Titans, they lost to the Browns. The Ravens beat the Browns, but the Colts beat the Ravens, right? So that should mean the Colts can beat the Titans.
You go back to the.
You didn't keep up with that, did you?
No.
Okay, so the Browns beat the Titans. The Browns beat the Titans.
Yes.
The Ravens beat the Browns.
Okay.
The Colts beat the Ravens.
So they should be able to.
They should be able to beat the Titans.
100%.
Okay, that's how I circle that.
I have them winning. I have them winning.
So I'll take the over, but I think it might be a slight over. I see a 28-21. I'll take Colts 28-21 and the over, so 43.5. I'm taking 49. So I'll take the over on that personally. But my stardoms, Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor, and wide receiver 3, Pittman or Downs. I don't like those guys in the 1 or 2 spot.
D-Hop?
No.
I don't start any wide receiver on.
No. Here's the thing. If you're looking for a flex play, it's a bye week. I'd start D-Hop. If you're looking for, and a lot of people don't understand depth, Westbrook-Ikine I like on the Tennessee Titans. And then I know a lot of people think I'm crazy because of the 1 touchdown last week by Josh Whyle. But I like Josh Whyle coming into the league. And that's what made me lean off Chig a little bit. Because Josh Whyle, I think, is better than Chigoziem. And they drafted Josh Whyle. So I was like, I'm a little afraid.
Where do you think they have to, include him?
I think that Josh Whyle might get 2 or 3 targets for 40 yards. So looking at a tight end too, you know what I mean? Like that.
Obviously, I would start A-Rod over, or Anthony Richardson over Ryan Tannehill all day long. So Tannehill puts up 14 to 16 points a week. He's consistently.
So he's consistent. So if you need a guy to come in and say you're down to Zach Wilson, Bryce Young, and Tannehill, because chances are those might be the 3 on your waiver wires. I would start Tannehill. I would not have a problem with that against this defense because Tannehill can actually sling it on this defense if he wanted to. This defense, the Colts defense is bottom barrel. So Tannehill could go for 220 plus today. Could. I think it's more of a Derrick Henry game. I think it's more of a Tyjae Spears game. But Derrick Henry Tannehill could throw for 220 plus.
I could see Tyjae. Tyjae's getting, I think he's getting more reps every week.
He's about 6 to 7 rush attempts at max, and then he's getting about anywhere from 3 to 4 targets weekly.
Yeah, so he's involved.
So he's touching the ball about 10 times every week.
Which isn't bad. With a rookie, you're not trying to...
It's not bad when he's averaging 8 yards per touch.
Yeah, which is...
That's ridiculous.
That's quite insane.
And that's not just talking about the rush. That's the receiving and the rush. That's ridiculous. All right, so any stat lines you like in this game?
I'm staying far away from this game.
Staying away from this game. Okay, we'll get out of this
100%.
game. Move right on to the next game. We got the Saints at the Patriots. I feel like this is a shithole of a week with games. 2-2 Saints versus the 1-3 Patriots. Is this a bounce back game for Mac Jones? But I don't think so. Saints defense is good.
I think Zappy's going to play again. I do. I think Zappy will come off the bench again at some point.
No, I disagree with that.
I don't see that.
Then again, I've disagreed with a few things with you, and I've been completely wrong.
I don't see New England scoring more than 10 points with Mac Jones today.
It's possible.
Very possible. So they need to involve Ramondre and Zeke heavily. You need to involve Zeke more in the passing game. You have not done that. Zeke has not been involved in the passing game like he was with Dallas.
As of right now, by the way, Derek Carr is playing.
Okay.
Ryan and I are kind of agreed on this point. I don't like Olave right now because Derek Carr has a shoulder injury and Olave excels downfield.
So you like Michael Thomas?
This is Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas for me.
I have Michael Thomas, so hopefully he pops off for me. Michael Thomas
and Jimmy Graham, because Jimmy Graham's been stepping up.
Yeah, Michael Thomas has been good for 10 to 12 fantasy points almost a week.
Has it been that consistent?
I think
I haven't. I traded him 2 years ago, so
I drafted him late for depth, and he has worked out in the spots that I needed him to.
Okay. So, New England. Who do we like in New England?
Yeah, 11, 12.5, 11, 9.3. So he's averaging 10.97. So about.
So wide receiver 3.
Yeah. So
wide receiver 3.
He's your flex, wide receiver 3.
All right.
Which is where I have him.
And then Kamara, I like it. You're running back 1 or 2 this week.
I would.
I have Kamara over 4.5.
If Kamara
receptions.
If Kamara has another big game, do you sell high on him and get some depth?
He's 27. I don't think I would.
Because
I'd keep him.
okay, that's a personal question for me.
I'd keep him.
Okay.
If you're getting like Achane for him,
Achane and a wide receiver,
if you can sell that high,
that's what I'm trying to do. So I don't.
If you can sell that high, I would.
My running backs in one dynasty league is Kamara, Chubb, and Etienne. So
right now you're happy with Kamara and Etienne.
Yeah, but my wide receivers are Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk. So I had their mid.
That's a old. How old's your dynasty league? Because it sounds like you've been sitting on somebody a little too long.
4 years.
You've been sitting on them a little too long.
Michael Thomas and D-Hop, yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, you should have sold D-Hop in the offseason when the hype was high.
I should have sold D-Hop the year before he got cut.
You could have sold him when he went to Tennessee immediately. I'd just been like, who wants him for a second? Like, see ya.
I'm in a rebuild, so I have 2 first-round picks.
That's always everybody's excuse. I'm in a rebuild.
My quarterbacks are good, though. My quarterbacks are good. I have
Brian Bressees, possible. Foster Moreau, possible.
So all those
I'm not seeing really Michael May suspended. He hasn't been on the field all year.
Michael May. Michael May.
Michael May. Marcus May. I'm wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, defensively, I'm not seeing too much defensively. And the same with injuries on the Patriots. Ramondre's probable thigh injury. Christian Gonzalez, we already talked about. He's out, but they got, was it CJ? Who did they pick up?
Who?
The Patriots. Just past week.
J.C. Jackson.
J.C. Jackson.
Yeah, Christian Gonzalez is out for the year with a torn labrum, which sucks for him because he was one of the best defensive backs coming out of the draft this year.
I will tell you that they have they got a pretty depleted O-line. They got.
That's why their running game hasn't been effective.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
And that's where I said they need to be involved more, but with that O-line, you can't. So that's where they're relying on Mac Jones. And let's be honest, Mac Jones is not he's a good, not great thrower of the football. But again, you don't have great. You have C+,
I see tanking. I see the Patriots tanking. I'm going to take the Saints.
Tanking for Caleb?
Thank you, Chicago, for winning, right?
You're not wrong. I could never see Belichick tanking, though.
No. I see Belichick. All my veterans sit. All my young guys play. You win, you win. I will coach you just like I coach the veterans. You win, you win.
It'll be so. Judging with the way that the year will play,
what do you have to lose?
It'll be interesting to see how some of these teams play because at some point, week 8, week 9. Obviously, before the trade deadline in the NFL, not fantasy, you're going to see how these teams are going to play the rest of the year for the draft. And the NFL hates when they suck on purpose.
So, just an FYI, this is the 11th and 10th defense overall.
So it's going to be low scoring. It'll be like
it's 39.5 is the over/under.
I'm taking the under. 30. I would take.
I would take the under in this game.
I could see like a 17-10.
I like that score.
17 Saints, 10.
You're taking the under by like 12 points.
It's going to be Derek Carr is coming back with a shoulder injury. You're not going to have that over the top like you have with Olave. Mac Jones is.
You might. I just based on what I've seen, I don't trust
Mac Jones is another guy. He has trouble hitting some guys in stride deep. So it's going to be another over the middle, like you said. Like what Anthony Richardson's been doing. Take 2-3 steps, drop back, get rid of the ball fast. That's how I see this game going to be. Kamara's going to be involved heavily in the passes and checkdowns because if Derek Carr cannot throw it over the top, that's where they're going to rely on. But I believe that Bill Belichick will adjust in the second half, and that's where you're going to see more of a Michael Thomas, Rashid Shaheed game.
Here, I do see something. This could be successful for Mac Jones. The Saints defense is 24th in sacks.
So they're not getting pressure.
So they're not getting... Well, they might be getting...
What is their secondary ranked?
They're 6 in interceptions. They're 14 in fumbles. So turnovers and fumbles, they're ranking higher.
What's passing yards
They're
allowed?
32nd in penalties.
30. Oh God!
If the Patriots play a clean game,
and you know how Bill utilizes that against teams.
Yeah, Bill's 10 in penalties and he's 10 in penalty yards, so he's like top of the league.
Yeah. How are they in points or passing yards allowed? The Saints defense.
The Saints defense passing yards, they're 12th overall.
So
in passing attempts, they're 24th though. They do let people throw, but it's more incompletions. Yep.
Yeah. So this is where the Saints defense is. You have the Saints,
but that's also where the offense. That's where also the Patriots offense excels.
Yes, the quick throws,
passing attempts, and completion percentage.
Yeah. So that's where you kind of have a two-headed monster. I shouldn't say a two-headed monster. A tale of two teams with the Saints is because their secondary is 12th.
These two teams match up very well.
Their defensive line is very bad, which means they're not getting to the football. So they're relying on their secondary to make the plays, get up there and break up, the passes. Whereas New England, I feel, is kind of the opposite. New England's defensive line is better than their secondary. Are they not?
Yes.
So yeah, they're the opposite. Whereas
they're 28th in interceptions, and 10 in fumbles.
So this is more of a
and 19th in sacks. So they're not great, but they just lost Judon, which is huge.
Where do you have Kamara rushing wise? I have him maybe like 50 yards. I don't have him
on a day like today. Here's the problem: is I think it's not about rushing.
You're in New England.
It's not about rushing for Kamara though. I have him 4.5 plus on receptions.
Yeah.
So I have Kamara for a stat line of probably 110 all-purpose yards. So I have him probably for 110 all-purpose yards and a touchdown. So I got Kamara. Kamara's a stardom for me in this game for sure.
Kamara's about 50. I have him 50 to 60.
And I hate to say it, I like Derek Carr and Mac Jones in these games.
I don't know if I can trust either of them. Derek Carr coming off that shoulder injury, I don't know. It's weird. And that's
fine.
Mac Jones coming off that horrible game against was it Dallas?
I mean, here's the thing, it's hard because Derek Carr is a guy that can sling it. And if the shoulder thing's an issue.
If you had to start one of them, who would you start?
Who? If I had to start Mac Jones or Derek Carr?
I would start.
I hate to say it, I'd probably start Mac Jones.
Me too. I would start only because of Mac Jones over an injured Derek Carr.
Yeah, I probably would start. Oh, I hate that. I hate you made me say. That's a horrible. I'm getting out of this game. This game is done and over with. I can see.
Move on anyway.
I can see the Patriots. I can see a Patriots win, but I got the Saints winning this game. I'm gonna put it at 21-13.
Okay. So I have 17.
So I still take the under. But at 21-13, I can see 3 touchdowns for the Saints.
I have 17 for the Saints and 10 for the Patriots.
And it's because that Kamara is such an intermediate player. He's not a running back, and he's not a receiver, and he's hard to protect against.
He's not a big field flipper, but he can be in certain aspects of the game.
Yeah. I mean, and to be honest, we said from the beginning of the year, this is the piece that they were missing, and then Derek Carr got hurt.
Yeah,
so
and Olave is the over the top. He's your field flipper, but with that injury to Derek Carr's shoulder, are you going to be able to flip the field as much as you need to?
Derek Carr's smart. I think Derek Carr and Mac Jones can be like similar quarterbacks.
I think we're going to see Derek Carr throw it deeper the later we get into the game to see how he is with that shoulder.
Yeah, I want to see that game just because I think there's a lot to parse out there and figure out where these teams are at.
Yeah, and don't be surprised if they leave a tight end in the block so real quick, let's go to the who's their other tight end that they use in Gadget?
Which team?
The Saints.
Foster Moreau.
No, you love
Taysom
him.
Hill.
Taysom Hill. You're going to see Taysom Hill in a lot of these games doing the quarterback sneaks.
I don't know. I didn't see him last week.
I know, but Derek Carr didn't play. Derek Carr didn't play last week.
He did.
Derek Carr didn't play.
Derek Carr played last week. Yeah.
Oh, he went out. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we thought he wasn't going to, and then the game time decision was he was in. So he did play last week. All right. So we're going to move on to the 0-4 Carolina Panthers
against
the 3-1 Detroit Lions.
Let's just do this one real quick. Detroit Lions going to walk all over the Carolina Panthers. I don't have the Carolina Panthers scoring more than 17 points. Bryce Young I have throwing 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown, 200 yards. Their biggest issue is they traded away their top wide receiver, and you're seeing that now.
Well, here's what I will tell you, okay? Carolina Panthers offensive line is horrendous, and the Detroit Lions are like top 5 in getting to the quarterback. So
it's going to be a rough game for Bryce. And
it's going to be a very rough game for Bryce.
And the Lions are without Amon-Ra probable. Amon-Ra's probable. So that's going to be a Jameson Williams, Craig Reynolds, not Craig Reynolds, I'm sorry, Josh Reynolds.
No, Amon-Ra's out. Hold on.
Yeah, he was probable.
No, I
Or
think
he was doubtful. I'm sorry.
No, I
He
think
was doubtful.
they official him out
I
yesterday.
have him out. So I made a trade this week. I traded Kelsey and
Doubtful.
Swift for
Amon-Ra
Nico.
Doubtful with an
Yeah, so he's
abdominal
not.
injury. But Jameson Williams is back.
Yeah, so it's going to be a JMO, Josh Reynolds, and a.
I like Josh
Khalif?
Reynolds. I actually like. I don't like Khalif Raymond. I like Josh
I'm
Reynolds.
trying to think. Yeah, Josh. And then you're without Jameer Gibbs.
And Sam
I
Laporta.
think.
Josh Reynolds is Sam Laporta in this game.
Heavy Sam Laporta.
But
game.
Jameson Williams is a guy that you 3 for 120. He's like a Gabe Davis. Like he's gonna get downfield and probably catch a ball.
Yeah, so that's where a lot of people are kind of dissing on the fact that I traded for Amon-Ra because they think Jameson's going to take all his receptions. That's not how it's going to go. Amon-Ra is the clear-cut number one for a reason. He's
Well,
not you-
Amon-Ra is we talked about this last year. He's a true slot receiver.
Yeah,
So
whereas-
he's a very good route running receiver
Yeah,
who's
J-Mo-
capable of getting downfield.
J-Mo is
Jameson's
he's
your
your
ex guy.
Yeah,
He's a
your-
downfield guy.
Exactly.
Your Rashid Shaheed, your Chris Olave. Like that's
Yeah.
what you're gonna see out
I'm
of.
happy we see out of dice because some other people think that Jameson Williams is another great route runner. I don't see it.
I mean, I'm not gonna say he's a bad route runner.
No,
I'm
but
just gonna
he's
say
not-
that he's more of your downfield guy. The speed is what matters on that.
And you always have guys on the
Did you
team
see
like
the
that.
Did you see the tweet from Mike McDaniel? Don't make me say it.
Oh, about Chase
I
Claypool.
traded for him because he's fast, guys.
We'll talk about that.
That was funny.
So, I mean, I'd start Jared Goff. I sit 100% Bryce Young. I do not start him in this game at all.
Miles Sanders is probable.
Miles
Groin injury.
Sanders is Chuba Hubbard. I don't know if I start either of those guys.
I'm starting Miles just because he's
If Miles is
he's a
hel-
check down guy along with Chuba.
If,
So like
if Miles is playing, I start him. Outside of that, I mean, wide receiver wise, what do you have? Adam Thielen, who Bryce Young really hasn't.
it's Thielen. I don't like anybody else in this game but Thielen.
No,
Like I don't like Terrace.
Terrace
I don't
hasn't done anything.
Yeah,
They were- they
Mingo's
were-
saying probable concussion.
yeah, they're trying.
So-
They were trying. There was rumors that they were trying to get Marquise Brown from the Cardinals. So
They assume the Cardinals are tanking. It's an assumption.
I don't know if the Cardinals are
The
tanking
Cardinals are not tanking.
because the Cardinals,
That coach is like, I am not going to be an interim head coach
and tank.
and tank. That's not what I'm doing.
So
And by the way, you can see that from both Eagles coaches right now. Both Eagles coaches that are head coaches right now, they're creating something out of nothing, and it's great. I love seeing
Yeah.
Steichen and I can never remember the dude in Arizona, but I love seeing those two
I don't
coaches.
even, yeah. But so depending, I know there's rumors about.
This might be the greatest coaches hirings in like recent history. D'Amico Ryan, Steichen, and the kid in Arizona. I'm loving.
D'Amico Ryan's going to be coach of the year
Has
eventually.
to be. Has to be. Has to be.
With what that team's doing right now, we'll
All right,
talk about that. But I have Detroit winning 24-10.
Ooh, I got what's the over under on this game?
I'm gonna
Because I
go
was going to say
42 and a
over.
half.
It's 44. I was going to take the over.
I haven't even looked at the
But
lines.
I
I'm
will
just a
say the
degenerate
line is
better.
Detroit's favored by 9.5. I'll take that. I'll take that. Because to be honest, Carolina's struggling scoring.
Yeah. So 24-10. I'll take it.
I'm just kind of questioning. Like,
You're without.
do you think I'm
Gibbs.
on route? Do you think I'm on route? Okay.
Amon-Ra's
No.
a big miss. Yes.
I think Sam Laporta 2 touchdowns today, and I like Montgomery for 2 touchdowns today.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say, and Jameer's snap count or question, they label him out.
He's out.
Okay, so Jameer's out. So like I like Monty for 2 touchdowns today. So I'm gonna say 35 Detroit to a 17 Carolina. I think they find a way to score, but 17.
Jameson Williams is questionable, but it's not an injury. He is expected to play. That was 10 hours
Probably because
ago.
of practice, but
Yeah. Jameer Gibbs is out, I believe. Let me double check that.
I thought I saw Jameer Gibbs out.
Doubtful. He was
Yeah,
downgraded
doubtful with a hamstring.
They're not
Yep.
going to play him. Amon-Ra,
Not the way Montgomery's
very
been playing.
doubtful. I don't know what that abdominal injury is, though.
Probably a huge hit he took. So we'll move on from this game.
Bruising.
We'll move on from this game. We'll get into another wonderful game this week. This should be a blowout, right? This should be a blowout. This should also be the place where the
know.
Giants know how to score, right? Because this is the 31st
Is
overall
Barkley going to
defense.
be healthy?
I think he's playing.
If Barkley's healthy, that's a different game.
I think he's playing. I offer some trades to people because I think Saquon and Jonathan Taylor are same capable guys. But Miami's favored by 12.5.
That's such a weird. That's a
They're at
lot.
home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're at home. 47.5 is the over-under. That has not moved all week. And then you're looking at injuries. Where's Saquon? Where is he?
Nope, he's out. Not expected to play ankle.
Is it probable or out?
7 hours ago, not expected to play.
They're still saying he's out. Okay, so Matthew Breida.
Don't start because Breida hasn't done squat in his absence. Breida's not.
It's been Brightwell, but Brightwell's out too.
I mean,
he's questionable ankle.
I mean, Breida has done decent. He had 10.8 against San Fran and then 12 against Seattle, but Miami. I mean, I don't know. Miami. If you're in a 12-man, I'd start Breida. Anything less than 12, I don't.
I like Wandale this week again. I know a lot of people hate me for saying Wandale.
So I
like Wandale.
Bellinger.
Wandale, Darren Waller.
I have Bellinger getting a touchdown. He hasn't gotten much looks, but I think he's going to get a touchdown. I think they're going to have to leave him in to help with blocking against this Miami defensive front.
I mean, they are running 2 tight end sets.
Too. Yeah. So that's where I can see them, utilizing the tight end.
I'll take 2 sacks for the Giants, too.
Oh, 100%.
I'll take 2 sacks for the Giants.
Did the claw hands come back out?
Oh, my God. That was the person that injured him, isn't it? Kayvon?
I think it was Kayvon.
Was it Kayvon? Oh, my God.
I think it was Kayvon. I honestly don't remember.
Who was it that hit?
It was Kayvon
who was it that hit Daniel Jones? And then, kind of did the sleepy face on the sideline. I thought that was Kayvon, but he's on the same.
But it wasn't against Daniel Jones. It was against.
It might have been against Tua because.
Hold on.
There was such harassment in the league after the fact. Kayvon's looked great. And we said this. We said Aiden Hutchinson was a day one starter. Kayvon was going to take a year or two.
Yeah, we said that. He is developmental.
Kayvon looks great right now.
And
so
Aiden Hutchinson, I'm not saying has taken a step back, but he has a little bit of a lower ceiling than Kayvon.
Start Chase Claypool today.
He doesn't play. He doesn't play. You know, if you're playing me, start Chase Claypool because he's a bum, and he's not a wide receiver 1, 2, or 3 because he has never.
Impact on this game, Chase Claypool. Does this destroy the locker room? Because everywhere he's gone, there's been a locker room issue, and I'm a little worried about this for Miami. I really am as a Miami, not a truther, but a fan for Miami. I'm a little worried about this.
So Claypool has he's a big mouth. Claypool has a big mouth ever since he was at Notre Dame, coming into the league, and that's just not against every team he's been.
So you think the reason he was so quiet in Pittsburgh initially?
It's because Mike Tomlin told him to shut the fuck up.
Well, and Ben was there. So, you're not going to tell Ben what to do, right?
But
when Ben left, everything changed.
That's because you didn't have to talk. You didn't have a guy to go to.
That's why I figured I'd ask that question.
I'm telling you right now, the issue with Pittsburgh is there is no leader in that locker room. Mike Tomlin's the leader. There is no leader for the players. And we'll talk about that.
All right.
But I'm taking Buffalo. I'll take Buffalo.
You're taking Buffalo in the New York-Miami game?
Not Buffalo. Miami, I'm taking 27-13.
Wow, that's low. 35-21 Miami. I'll take the over.
Okay. I think it's going to be a little bit of back to earth with that Miami running back room.
Let's go, A-Chan.
I hope so.
I see A-Chan going off again. I think you got about 5 weeks before A-Chan comes down to earth. So all you guys, if you need him, use him. If not, sell him on the hype, baby. Sell him on the hype. Because the end of Miami's season is very defensive. Fortunate, not really. They play some good defenses towards the end of their season. But let's move on from here. And I would look at that in redraft leagues, moving on from A-Chan before week 10. Let's take a look here. We'll jump into the next game. We have... Oh, wait. Were you just talking about Tomlin?
Yes.
All right. Let's get into that game.
Perfect. So...
Sometimes things fall into place.
Lamar Jackson.
Drake May is going to Pittsburgh, by the way. Oh, did I say that too soon?
And I like Bo Nix more in that system.
They can get him later.
I like Bo Nix.
You can get him later.
System.
Fire Mason Rudolph, fire Mitch Trubisky, keep Kenny Pickett for another year, and then let Bo Nix sit behind Pickett. I just don't like rookies teaching rookies.
I mean,
I'm just saying that.
Wrong on Kenny Pickett.
Did you see the harassment Pickett got?
No.
Oh my God. They said he's got like Whopper hands and like Whopper Jr. hands. Oh my God. They're harassing him all over ESPN right now. And by the way, we all know Pickett is Sam Darnold right now. He's seeing shadows. Like he's turning before the pocket even closes. He's seeing shadows.
He's not comfortable. He doesn't have confidence in his
offensive line. But like, let's not be too like crazy here. Like he's seeing Myles Garrett and he sees T.J. Watt in practice and he sees. I mean, like
you get to go up against
Roquan Smith. Today. You're seeing some of the best defensive guys in the league in your face. So like, I can understand him seeing a pocket close before a pocket closes. Like, I just wish he'd see a receiver open before a receiver is open.
Yeah, like I said, the whole situation with Pittsburgh is there is no leader for the players in that locker room outside of Tomlin. Who is the leader on that offense? There's nobody.
I'm hitting the overs on this game.
Deontay Johnson, who's on IR, who hasn't done anything the last 2 years. George Pickens, who is I don't consider him a wide receiver one. Kenny Pickett, who has been nothing but a shell of himself from college. And Najee Harris, who has done nothing in the NFL other than his rookie year. That whole team has regressed 100% since Ben left.
The Najee thing's been driving me insane. He looked good last week. He was the only player that looked good last week.
That's because they're forcing Kenny to throw, and Kenny cannot throw, so they're stacking the box. Watch the games. I'm telling you, watch what the Ravens do.
No, I don't. Well, the Ravens are going to stack the box just because they did the same thing against Deshaun Watson because we had no run game. So they're going to stack
Deshaun
the
Watson.
box. No.
DTR.
Yeah. Yes. True. They forced DTR to throw the ball. It's exactly what they did. Actually, it's a good point.
And I don't think Kenny Pickett's that much better than DTR right now.
I think Stefanski set DTR up for failure, and I feel bad for DTR in that situation.
I don't hate on DTR.
So here's what I see in this game. The over-under on this game is 38.5. Line hasn't moved. I'll take the over. I got the Ravens winning this game 31-17. So I personally, I just don't see the Ravens giving up on this team.
No.
I see them just laying it down. But I do see them coming at
game.
I do see them coming at Lamar, but I just don't know if they could protect the middle of the field with Lamar. Like you've got Highsmith and you have TJ on the ends. You have that linebacker up the middle who's gone decent. I can't remember his name.
Not Bush. He's gone.
No, it was a waiver pickup. But
do you move TJ to the middle?
No, you can't. You can't because then that whole right side is all Lamar's, and he's gonna have fun on that right side. You have to force him up the middle and close the gaps. That's what you got to do.
This is gonna be.
I see Lamar plus 60 and a touchdown.
100%.
100. And I see him throwing for about 200, 220, right in that area.
He nets about 280, 300.
Yeah. And I see Mark Andrews 1 TD, Lamar 1 TD. I see a Zay TD today.
I see Gus Edwards TD.
And that's possible. I see a Gus Edwards possible TD. They've gotten a little better on the run, but
I picked up Gus Edwards off the waiver wire.
But I see four touchdowns for the Ravens today.
Yeah. I see 5 because I see a defensive touchdown.
It's possible.
Pick 6, strip sack return. I think Kenny Pickett has he has 2 turnovers, whether that's a fumble and interception or 2 interceptions.
And just an FYI, people are saying you're on the Ravens hype train. Like, no, I've had the Ravens as the second team in this division since I've started. Possible first if everything worked out.
Yeah.
And right now, everything's working out. The Browns injuries, the failings on the Browns, Nick Chubb being out.
So Nick Chubb took at least 2 wins off the Browns, I think, for the year.
Yeah, so I see the Ravens taking first place now and the Browns taking second.
Because with the Bengals, Joe Burrow still is not healthy. He is not going to be healthy until after the bye in Week 7, so Week 8.
We're going to get into that game here in a minute, so let's talk about that later.
But the Steelers are a shell for a 2-2 team. Let's be honest.
They look great because they
1-3.
They were in this situation where Stefanski has 0 adjustments and Nick Chubb got injured. Mm-hmm. They don't win that game if Nick Chubb doesn't get injured or if Stefanski makes adjustments.
Yeah, their defense won that game, not their offense. Their defense is the reason they're 2-2.
Well, the Browns lost that game.
No,
Their defense didn't even win the game.
No.
Like, you're right. Technically, the defense won the game because I think they had two defensive touchdowns. And the offense scored one touchdown, which is the only touchdowns the Browns given up in 3 games.
Yep.
So let's move on from that. But I got the Ravens in this game. I think I took the. Did I take the over or the under?
What's the over?
I said 31-17.
I like that.
So I took the over. That's the over. Yeah, because 38.5 is the over.
Some player props for you guys.
I'm almost taking the Ravens to cover the whole thing.
Zay Jones, 5 receptions, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Mark Andrews.
I like that.
Mark Andrews. I'm not sure on the receptions. It's going to be weird with how...
4 to 5. I'd say 4 to 5. So if he's given 3.5, I would take it.
I have him 45, 50 yards and a touchdown, and I have Gus Edwards 40 all-purpose yards and a touchdown.
Is Bateman out?
Bateman, I believe, is still out. Or is it... Yeah, I think Bateman's still out. I think OBJ's still out.
Beckham's probable.
So he's not going to play. And let's just talk about real quick how stupid that contract was for the Ravens that we
No,
said.
we're not going to talk about that. We'll talk about it another day.
Contract,
we're going to talk about it another day.
We told you, Ryan.
Actually, I think Bateman and Odell they both say probable.
So
I think they're in. Justice Hill is also probable.
So it's going to be Gus Edwards, Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, I like Melvin Gordon. J.K. Dobbins IR, just for you, Ryan, if you're watching, which I know you're not. And then the Steelers, I'm not seeing too much. Okorafor, probable. Highsmith, questionable. Pickett, obviously, I think he said he's starting this week. Freiermuth, out. Oh, yeah. I like Darnell in this game. Washington. I like Darnell Washington this game, which in some leagues he's still on waivers. If you need a tight end, I like Darnell in this game. I think he got 3 or 4 targets last week.
How early they took him, they're not utilizing.
No, well, they weren't going to. Early. I think they got him in like the 4th round. Tight ends. Let me see if I can find Darnell.
They took him way too early though for where we had him personally.
I mean, not really. Every other tight end was gone. We had him ranked there. So he had 1 target, 1 receptions for 10 yards in that last game against Houston.
So 2 points.
2 points. But you're gonna need him. Actually, they have him possible 4 points against Baltimore. I like Darnell in this game because you have to utilize the tight end, and with Freiermuth out, who else are you gonna throw to?
George Pickens.
I got to go check my rosters. I didn't know Freiermuth was out.
And neither did I.
Late October hamstring.
Oh.
I'm going to have to take a look at that. Yeah, it says they're starting. No, that's weird. It says they're starting Freiermuth and Washington. But yet it says late October. So take that back. I'm going to take a look at that, dig into that a little bit. Freiermuth might still be playing. But they utilized Darnell Washington a little more in the receiving game last week. I saw a bunch of routes by him last week. Not a lot of targets, obviously, but I saw a bunch of routes. We'll move on from this game because we kind of we see Baltimore taking that game away. This game is a fun game. Who's the player of the week might be in this game? Bijan Robinson or C.J. Stroud. This is the Houston Texans in Atlanta. So remember the player prop where I said under 250? He's supposed to be over 250.
C.J. Stroud?
I'm taking C.J. Stroud under 250 in this game. The Atlanta secondary is better than most people realize.
Oh, they are.
And Atlanta's only favored by 2.5. I'll take Houston to win the game because I like Dameon Pierce in this game.
You saw this struggle with Trevor Lawrence last week in London against Atlanta. With that secondary. Secondary is underrated.
Yeah, I mean, I like...
You got to remember, who do they pay? Who'd they pay?
Oh, I don't have to remember that.
Who'd they pay?
They paid Cincinnati Bengals safety.
Bates.
Yeah, Jesse Bates
the
third.
$1 zillion, but, I mean, he has...
He's proven it. He's worth it. He's worth it right now.
He has proven it, so...
I mean, I will say that they are doing very well in the secondary, and which is why I don't like C.J. Stroud for 250.
So,
but
Dameon Pierce...
But is this the quarterback that's capable of destroying secondaries? Because he's not given up an interception in 4 games.
This will be the sway game for me.
I agree.
This will be the sway.
I completely agree with you. This might be the CJ Stroud into my top 3 game.
right now for fantasy. Yes, and you may look at us like we're crazy, but excuse me. If he can,
we might not even be able to get into that today.
If he can dismantle Atlanta. Let's talk about that Monday. Let's do that Monday.
We might be able to.
Because let's do it.
We only
Monday.
have one game Monday this week, so.
But let's do it Monday because that's when everybody plays 5 games. So it helps the argument a little bit with one player.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so we'll move our QB top 5 to Monday. That's what we'll do. What do you think? You like this game? What do you like in this game? And what do you see props-wise?
I think Dameon Pierce has a good game against that D-line. I think Dameon Pierce...
Over-under is 42. Atlanta's favored by 2.5.
I take the under, but I see it being a 3 total touchdowns for C.J. Stroud. 2 passing, 1 rushing. I do see him throwing an interception to Jesse Bates this game. I do. But he will hang on to the ball the rest of the game. Desmond Ridder...
I love Bijan in this game.
But they're not. They need to utilize him more in the passing game.
I love Bijan in this game. Bijan might be a top 2 back.
He's an
this
Alvin
week.
Kamara of last week.
No.
Of last week.
I didn't see the stat line of Alvin Kamara. I know that he went off, but I expected him to go off last week.
That's what I have going on with Bijan this week. I can see Bijan scoring a lot this week.
I like Bijan in this game hugely.
Do you think Will Anderson gets 2 sacks?
So it's hard because you have Bijan. Like, it's a check down.
Exactly.
It's hard.
He's going to get rid of the ball fast. I think Desmond
Ridder has not been making a lot of mistakes.
This will be the game that Desmond Ridder's pulled for Taylor Heineke.
No way.
Don't
listen to him.
If it's going very bad, Taylor Heineke will come in. And that's not if they're getting beat and Desmond Ridder hasn't looked, he's looked okay. They're just getting destroyed. That doesn't count. I'm talking about if they pull Desmond Ridder because he has played so bad for Taylor Heineke.
I'll take Houston money line, and I think I'm taking the under.
I'll take the under. Houston money line.
I'll take 21-14.
I take Nico anytime touchdown.
21-18. I'll go 21-18.
Dameon Pierce anytime touchdown. Kyle Pitts, I could see being utilized in this game for once because there was a lot against Arthur Smith for not utilizing Kyle Pitts the last couple of games. So I think
Did you see the video?
No.
The reason why Kyle Pitts isn't getting utilized, it has nothing to do with utilization. Kyle Pitts looks bad.
So
he's tripping on his route running. He's falling over. He can't play man-to-man coverage. He looks bad.
So Drake London game.
Jonnu Smith is averaging 8 points a game.
He's the number one
fantasy-wise. He's their number 1 tight end. Yeah. And I tried to pick up Jonnu Smith, but the person that has Sam Laporta for some reason picked up Jonnu Smith. No comment there. But I like Jonnu Smith. He's not a guy that's going to get you 25 points.
No, but he's good for about
1 touchdown, 6 receptions for 45 yards.
Yeah, his floor is 8. His ceiling is 12.
I'd say his ceiling's probably 18.
Okay.
I can see 18 to possibly 20 out of him.
I would like to see Drake London have a big game.
But it's because of Desmond Ridder. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
It's not because of Jonnu Smith's ability. It's because Desmond Ridder is not... They use Desmond Ridder like the 49ers use Brock Purdy. So they allow him to air it out every now and then.
It's like they're playing not to lose, but they're not really playing to win.
It works until you hit the playoffs. Yeah. It works until you hit the playoffs. You hit the playoffs, now you got to play to win. It's a big difference. But
let's be honest. We'll
I love
talk
Bijan.
about the Niners.
I love Bijan in this game, right? I love Bijan. I don't like Desmond Ridder.
No.
I love C.J. Stroud because of his ability to protect the ball against good defenses.
Drake London. I like Jonnu. Someone's got to catch the ball.
You have to start Drake London because he's the number 1 receiver.
I like Matt Collins.
I haven't seen him in the last 2 weeks. So
I think he's going to have Gabe Davis numbers. He might have 3 receptions and a touchdown.
No, never. Maybe. I don't know. That's assuming Desmond's going to sling it, right? That's assuming Desmond's going to sling it, right?
Every week there's a wide receiver 2 that pops off. I could see Matt Collins this week being that wide receiver 2. Or
he's wide receiver 3 on that team. Kyle Pitts is wide receiver 2.
Kyle Pitts is not a wide receiver. Kyle Pitts isn't even a tight end right now.
You know what I will argue? They need to stop playing Kyle Pitts in the slot. It's not what he is. He's not a slot receiver.
And maybe that's why he's having trouble with the routes.
Yeah, they're having him do double cuts, and I don't think he's a double cut guy. He's a one-move guy.
He's heavy-footed.
Yeah, so I think Kyle Pitts is growing pains right now. It's not looking good.
And Kyle Pitts was kind of the generational, he's a tight end wide receiver hybrid.
Yeah,
and we did utilize that
just
a lot.
an FYI. The hype on the kid from Georgia this year, Brock Bowers. People need to calm down.
I'm happy you said
Brock
that.
Bowers is playing against really bad teams, and he looks like a monster, but it also looks like men playing against boys.
Yeah.
I like Brock Bowers.
It was kind of the same with Kyle Pitts.
Take a step. It's also Michael Mayer. He's not getting utilized at all.
Who did we say we liked the most coming out of the
Sam
tight end?
Laporta.
And what has he proven? Sam Laporta has been
utilization, team. Sam Laporta. And then
like
our second was Dalton Kincaid. Technically, our Dalton Kincaid was your guys' one. And then you're like, I really like Sam Laporta. We had him about 5. I had Sam Laporta as my number 1.
So I remember that show because we all loved Sam Laporta. And none of us talked about Sam Laporta at all. I believe he came out of Iowa, right?
Yeah.
And you know who else came out of Iowa?
George Kittle.
TJ Hawkinson. Iowa is a tight end U.
All right, so we'll get out of this game and we will jump into the Philadelphia Eagles. Is it Delphia or Dalvia? Philadelphia Eagles
Garbage
at
City.
The LA Rams.
I'm sorry.
The 4-0 Philly against the 2-2 LA Rams.
You're gonna call me crazy.
You could take LA in this game because they're slinging it. They're slinging it.
Swift is going to come back down to earth with the way he has been playing, and they're going to involve Kenneth Gainwell more. I think the tush push will work, but only in certain aspects.
Speaking of the tush push, guys, can we the NFL just leave the tush push alone? It's an NFL play that's successful. It's not a cheat.
Just because you can't run it doesn't mean it needs to be banned.
Yeah, like it's not a cheat. It's literally part of the game.
Yeah.
Part of the game. Like if you get rid of the tush push, then you got to get rid of every single running back that goes to the outside where an offensive lineman goes and picks him up and just continues with him. Like you can't get rid of the tush push because it's part of the game. It's part of the game.
Yeah, 100%. So I have the Rams winning by a touchdown in this game. I think you got Cooper Kupp, you got Puka, you got Tyler Higbee. You have Kyron Williams, who I believe is still questionable. I'm not sure on that injury if you want to check.
I'll check while you're talking right now.
And then on the other side of the ball, you got DeAndre Swift. You got Jalen Hurts. You have Devontae and A.J. Brown.
Kyron is probable with a hip injury.
If you look at both of these teams, they mirror each other pretty well outside of quarterback.
According to this, their starting is Kyron.
Okay. So if you look at these teams outside of quarterback, KJ, would you say they mirror themselves pretty decently on offense?
Well, hold on. Say that one more time because I think I misheard.
Outside of quarterback, I think these teams mirror each other very well on the offensive side of the ball.
Mirror. No.
Cup,
no, you can't
Puka.
say that because you took the quarterback away. you took the quarterback away. You literally took the asset who throws the ball away.
I was trying to get you.
No, I think that Matt Stafford is better than Jalen Hurts, historically speaking. Matt Stafford has been better than Jalen Hurts. The difference between Jalen Hurts and Matt Stafford is Jalen Hurts isn't as risky.
Yes.
But does risk matter when you have Puka Nacua, who's been very good, and Cooper Kupp coming back?
Let's be honest, Puka has been the savior that the Rams have needed with the injury to Cooper Kupp, and he's not going to lose that many touches. It's going to open up the field for both Cooper, Higbee, and Puka all over. So I think this is going to be
just an FYI. Freiermuth is out.
Officially,
Freiermuth is out. I read the last starting lineup, so Freiermuth is out. I like Darnell Washington in that Steelers game.
I'm happy I started Kmet then on Thursday.
Freiermuth is. I have to look now because I think I have him starting in 2 leagues. All right, sorry about that.
You're fine. I like the Rams. I do. This feels like a trap game for me. You know, it does.
It is a trap game because Philly's team, mind you, has increasingly gotten better. They have gotten better week in and week out. They have increasingly gotten better. The defense is getting more chemistry, but Stafford's not stupid. Yeah. Now, Stafford did take a lot of unnecessary sacks in the Cincy game. A lot. So he took 6 sacks in the Cincy game.
Yes.
And I'll say Philly's defense is head over heels.
Oh, 100%.
Better than Cincy's defense.
100%.
Cooper Kupp matters in this game.
Cooper Kupp does matter.
He matters in this game.
Cooper Kupp matters for Puka getting more.
Kyron, I also think Kyron has to be very, very, very good in the checkdown game.
Kyron is what they wanted Cam Akers to be, which Cam Akers never was.
They didn't allow Cam Akers to be that. It was weird.
I
That
think there was
situation
some
was that whole
animosity
situation
in the
was
locker room
weird.
towards that.
It's the Chase Claypool factor. Like that
Okay,
whole situation.
I like that.
That whole situation's weird.
Yeah, I like that. But no, so I'm gonna take the Rams. I have them by a touchdown.
You're taking the Rams by that much?
Philly almost lost to Washington, and Washington just got exposed by Chicago. It's just
That's part of the script.
This feels like because Dick Buckus died. This feels like a.
Did I not say that to you? God bless, by the way.
Yeah,
we found out after the show.
Upstairs and it broke.
Yeah, we found out after the show, and I said Chicago might win that game.
And let's be honest,
I wish I could have came back. I could have, but I should have came back on and been like, this might be a Chicago game because there's no way they're going to let the city of Chicago not win that game on a butt-kiss death.
One of the best linebackers to ever play died.
Yeah,
let's go. I'm just going to change for 30 seconds. That doesn't take Matt Eberflus off the hot seat, maybe down a notch or two, but he is still on that hot seat. One game does not change your career in Chicago. It's a big city. A lot of people watching.
I think it does.
I don't think.
I think it does. I'll tell you. We'll talk about that Monday. I think it does. So, what's the over/under in this game?
I'm gonna guess 42. No, we'll do 46.5.
50.5.
So I was close.
I'm
close with a lot of the over/unders.
I'll take
too much, but
I'll take this a 1-point game.
Okay.
28-27 Rams.
I could see.
And that's an under.
12,
right?
12 targets.
No, that's an over. That's 55. That's 55.
I'll take the under. I like 12 targets for Kupp.
I take the over.
I think Matt Stafford will throw the ball 60 times.
That might be like record for him.
Well, when you have Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua out there, and Puka has like 12 targets a game on average, and Kupp's going to get probably about the same, that's 24 pretty much to two of your guys, so that's half, just about. Plus you got Kyron Williams with the check down. You got Tyler Higbee. You still have Tutu and Van. Yeah, I'll go 50. I'll go.
I could see 46 times.
Okay.
And I'll see 30 completions.
Okay.
But
I have 12 targets for Kupp.
Obviously, we're saying start Stafford and Jalen Hurts. Like that's
you start everybody.
That's unquestionable in this game.
I don't know if you have to start Swift. I think you
got to start Swift. You got to start Puka. You got to start Cooper Kupp. Maybe wide receiver 3 personally if you have Kupp, but you probably drafted him in the top 4 rounds. So you got to start Kupp. You got to start AJ. You got to start Devontae Smith. The only people I'd be questioning in this game is your tight ends, which is Dallas Goedert. They're trying to utilize Dallas Goedert more, so this might be a Goddard game. It might be. And then because they've been trying to get him engaged week in and week out.
If I could see, I would start.
And then Higbee. Higbee's the other guy, but I think Higbee is the one that loses in the
Kupp coming back.
And that is because Puka goes to 2, Tutu goes to 3, Kupp is 1, Van's off the field, and Higbee's the 4. And I think Higbee and Tutu fight for that third target share spot.
I could see them together getting 8 receptions.
I could see them getting 10, but I just don't know who gets 7 and 3. Does that make sense?
It's going
to be one-sided. It just don't know who the one side is going to favor. I would lean more towards favoring Higbee because the defense is coming off quick and you need your tight end as a release guy.
I think this Rams defensive line is going to be a lot for Jalen Hurts. I think this is the game where you're going to see, Swift maybe. I don't want to take. I'll say it. I think he takes more of a backseat. You have Kenneth Gainwell go in there for the checkdowns because they have not used Swift in the checkdown game.
Okay.
And Kenneth Gainwell got more and more targets and more touches last week. So I think
I respectfully disagree with you. I respectfully disagree with you. I think Swift has 24 points this game.
Okay.
I respectfully disagree with you. Because Swift.
Maybe I'm just saying this because I traded him.
You could be. Swift is capable of being an all-around back, an every down back.
100%. If they utilize him that, which I hope they do.
They have been.
I like Swift.
They have been. That's the argument. They have been.
He's only gotten like 8 receptions in 4 games.
I mean, I get it. He's only played 3.
Oh, I guess. Well, he played 1. He did play 1. He only got one rushing attempt though.
Right. Like as I was saying, like he played 3. So, and then he went off week 2, and then he went off week 3, and then he went off week 4. I get it. The Achane Swift situation, like, I think people just don't respect the fact that you have new leads coming into the league.
No, I hope
like
I hope. I don't know why.
It's not a Derrick Henry. It's not a well, it might be a Kamara year. It's not a Derrick Henry. It's not a CMC. It's not. Well, it might be a CMC year. Hold on. CMC and Kamara are just two different people. Yes. So, all right.
But yeah, we'll move on.
We'll move on to that game.
I like the Rams. You like the Eagles?
No, I said Rams 28-27. So I like the upset in this game.
We both see it.
I also like the upset in this game.
I do too. What's the upset?
Who's favored?
Against?
So since he's favored going into Arizona. Crazy! T. Higgins is out.
Favored?
Since he is favored going into Arizona.
You know who gives us Charlie Brown?
Charlie Jones is out.
Charlie Jones, sorry.
He's out.
Charlie Brown. I'm freaking slow.
Charlie Jones is out. I think he's on the IR.
So you have...
This is Jamar Chase, which now that Jamar Chase is there, like Arizona's just going to cover Jamar Chase.
Tyler Boyd.
Irv Smith.
Is he coming back from injury?
He just had he was a groin or a hamstring injury.
I hope... I like Irv Smith. I hope they utilize him well.
Wide receiver T. Higgins out, ribs. Taylor Britt is concussion protocol still, so they say probable, which that's... If Cam Taylor-Britt's out, Josh Dobbs, go have fun. Then you got Trey Hendrickson, questionable, back injury. That's huge. Irv Smith, probable hamstring. Charlie Jones out indefinitely with a broken thumb. Cochran, IR knee. Maxwell, IR knee. That's the only injuries for Cincy, so Cincy's looking pretty healthy. I don't even want to name the injuries.
You know what this is going to be a game of? Andre Iosivas.
I don't think he's active. No, it's Trent Irwin is your wide receiver 3. It's Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins. Well, no, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, and Trent Irwin. Trent Irwin hasn't lost the wide receiver 4 spot yet.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So Trent Irwin will be your X factor in this game.
You know who I really like in this game on the other side of the ball?
James Conner. Michael Wilson.
Is Michael Wilson.
Michael Wilson has been picked up by everybody that's seen his name last week. I wanted to pick him up the week prior, and I didn't. I was on the bottom of every single waiver, and I pissed myself off because I didn't get him in a single league because of that. But you know what's funny? I'm going to say statistically Josh Dobbs' best career game.
I hope.
Right here.
I think Marquise
Right here.
Brown has a really good game, too.
Josh Dobbs, 285 yards. 6 rush attempts for 45 yards.
That secondary is bad.
It's not bad. Cam Taylor-Britt has been playing very well, but if he's out or questionable, he's under concussion protocol. So
if he hasn't cleared yet, let's be honest, he might.
It says probable. So
he has.
We'll see.
But he has until I believe it's either 10 or 11 to clear.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. So I like Arizona in this game, and I like it 20. I like it 24-21.
So let me ask you this: if Joe Burrow comes out,
hey, what's 24 plus 21?
54.
45.
Oh, 45.
What's the over under?
Sorry.
What's the over under? I didn't even look at it. It's 45. I hate myself.
You don't touch it then.
I don't touch the over under. I like 24-21, but you know what's funny? I didn't even look the plus. Well, I did look at the plus minus because I said since he's favored by 3.
If you're that close on score, you don't touch the over under because it'll be something goofy as shit. This will be the game that's completely one-sided.
10-3, 10-3.
That or it'll be like a 35-3 game where Joe Burrow just freaking goes off.
And to be honest, last year, week 4, I think they might have played Arizona.
No,
they played Atlanta. Remember the Atlanta game?
Yeah.
And I think that was week 4 or 5. When Cincy came right back, and that was the Cincy that everybody was planning on. I just don't see that happening. Arizona's defense is solid.
Let me ask you, I have Kirk Cousins and Joe Burrow. Who do I start?
Kirk Cousins.
Okay, yeah, I got to start Daddy Kirk, right?
I start Kirk Cousins. So
so this is the game that I think Zach Taylor is going to have some questions to answer after the loss. What's going on with Joe Burrow right after this game? You should have put. I think he goes on IR at this point.
Just an FYI.
You should have put him on IR.
You start Jamar Chase in this game. You have to.
You have to.
You have to start Jamar Chase.
You have to.
You start
Tyler Boyd.
I think you have to start Tyler Boyd. I think you do because they use him as a slot underneath, cross the field.
Even before Jamar Chase was drafted, T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd were
1 and 2 solid players
for Joe Burrow. So He has experience with Joe Burrow. It's not like he doesn't. He has just been shoved back because of T. Higgins and Jamar.
Start Marquise Brown.
Yes.
I like
Mac
Michael Wilson, but
start-
Rondale Moore could be the one this week because of the speed.
Yeah.
Cam Taylor-Britt is going to be on Marquise Brown, so I think the speed for Rondale Moore is going to be successful. The difference is Josh Dobbs isn't a gunslinger.
Yeah.
Josh Dobbs probably throws 35, 40 yards downfield, so that's why Josh Dobbs is so successful, because he's good at releasing the ball as quick
And
as
he
possible.
doesn't take a lot of gambles.
Yep. So I like
Do you
Arizona's
see
game
this?
for that reason.
What do you like? Who do you like better at running back? Joe Mixon, James Conner?
It's obviously James Conner because they don't utilize
No,
Joe
and
Mixon.
we were talking
They're going
about
to
that
throw
prior
the
to the
ball
show.
since he's so stupid, and this is the OC, this is the offensive coordinator, not Joe Burrow. Since that he's so stupid, you have one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league, arguably top 5, arguably number 1. There's a lot of arguments you can have there. Injury is a factor this year, but you're throwing the ball 46 times a game with an injured quarterback when you have a running back who you paid to play, and who, when you give him the ball over 12 to 15 times a game, he is great on the field. He finds the seams, he breaks the hole, and you're not using him. You're not using him.
Exactly.
So it's just stupid. You should. This is the Stefanski argument. Like, you weren't
Zach
using your
Taylor's-
passing game when you had Nick Chubb. Now, which was the number 1 running back in our mind.
Now that we don't have him,
Now that we don't have him, he's like, hey, we should probably run the ball. And
Yeah.
you're like, that's stupid. I don't know. It's no fun to talk about that game. But
Zach
like,
Taylor is not a good head
Browns
coach.
won't lose this week. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, they might lose the bye week, but that'll be next week.
But yeah, I like
I like-
Arizona.
yeah.
So who do you like in this game?
Arizona, same way. I think Zach
You're taking
Taylor-
the upset in this game too, then, huh?
Oh yeah, I loved it. I don't even think it's an upset. I think Arizona should be favored.
I think the way both these teams have been playing, like, Arizona should be favored.
I
at
don't
home.
think
It
Arizona-
should be like a 1.5 point favorite for Arizona at home.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason Cincy should be favored in this game. No reason.
So
Outside of Joe Burrow. Like, that's the name, right? We're just assuming Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes are favored just because that's who they are. So, we'll pull out of this game.
it's just
Like-
a weird game. You know, this is gonna be the game that'll be one sided, whether it's one
This
way
is
or
my
the other.
favorite game of the week. A favorite game of the week. Zach Wilson is about to beat the Denver Broncos this week. I start both defenses, right?
Righty then. You start both.
I start both defenses. Yeah.
Broncos defense they let up 70 points.
Zach Wilson gives up the ball 2 to 3 times a game.
Zach Wilson looked really good in that last game.
I agree.
Zach Wilson,
I agree.
you won that game.
Zach Wilson.
The refs fucked your butt. Sorry.
I agree. But he makes mistakes. And I think Denver will capitalize on those mistakes. I start both defenses.
I'll respectfully disagree.
That's fine. I start both defenses. Dude, this game's going to be 14 to 10. The game's going to be 14 to 10.
I don't like this game. I stay far as I don't know outside of Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. I don't know if I start anybody else. I don't start Javonte. I don't start McLaughlin. I don't start.
It's funny that you say that. I do kind of like Breece Hall in this game.
I don't start Judy. I might start Cortland Sutton because he has gotten touchdown I think 2 or 3 weeks. Outside of that, I do not like this game one
Denver's favored.
bit. This
Isn't that
is
crazy?
a goofy game.
It is in Denver, though. It is in Denver.
I don't like this game. I don't even want to talk about this game.
I love this game. I love this game.
Makes one of us.
It's a
This
battle.
game
It's a battle of the goons. I love this game.
It's just disgusting to look at. I mean,
But keep in mind, this might sound crazy, right? Because of the way I'm talking. But let's look at this.
you always sound crazy. It's just depending how you put it.
You got jokes. Let's look at this, right? They go and they play Denver.
If the Jets win, is Sean Payton on the hot seat? And do we see a possible trade for Kyler Murray?
Hold on. The Jets go and
Broncos?
play Denver, right? I think I have this right. Is this right? I gotta look at this weird. This is weird. Sorry. Schedule. Something was going on there where.
Jets play Broncos. Yeah, you're right.
No. Do they play Philly next week?
Jets. The Jets
Yeah.
play. Yeah, they play the Eagles at home.
Okay. So here we go. That's what I want to look at. All right. So let's just say, right, that they beat the Broncos. They go 2-3. They go 2-3, right? Then you play Philly. You're going to struggle there. You're going to struggle in Philly. I think you can beat them, but you're going to struggle.
Philly's not like they were last year. I'm going to tell you right now.
But you're going to struggle. So let's just say they lose that game, right? Then you have a bye week,
which is a good bye week to have.
Then you go play the Giants,
which is a win because
I think they can win that game.
Jersey versus
then you go
Jersey.
play the Chargers.
That's winnable.
I think that's winnable. Then you play the Raiders.
That's winnable.
Okay. Then you play Buffalo. We're going to say they lose that game, right? Let's just say they lose that game. Even though it's a divisional game and Buffalo's...
And then Aaron Rodgers.
Let's just say it's a winnable game, but then it's technically the Jets defense almost beat Buffalo last year just by themselves. So then you got the Miami Dolphins. We're going to say they lose. Let's just say they lose.
We'll lose.
You play Atlanta. That's winnable.
That's winnable. Depending on who's at quarterback, that's 100%.
And you play
winnable.
Houston. That's winnable.
No.
I like C.J. Stroud in that game.
Actually, with that defense, yeah,
it's winnable.
That'll be a good game to see what C.J. Stroud can do against the
That's another good game for C.J.
Defense.
Right. Then you got the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to assume Aaron Rodgers is back week 15.
I'm happy we agree because everybody's saying he's crazy, but I don't know what he's doing, who he has hired, who his trainers are, but...
He's doing a lot of dark retreats. But
he's fighting the man.
I'm gonna say I mean, he might even come back in that Houston game just to get warm up, and then you go play Miami, and I think that's winnable.
Is Aaron Rodgers in a boot better than Zach Wilson healthy?
No, he did say that though. I think he implied that. Then you go Washington, that's winnable.
Washington, I think,
and then you got the Browns, that's winnable. And that's a Browns fan speaking as a Browns fan. That's winnable. Then you got the Patriots week 18. That's winnable. They could go 11-6 with what we just said with Zach Wilson.
I think they win this game. I do. I don't think that. I think Denver's defense.
But I'm just saying,
the offense is the reason they lose this
all
game.
I'm saying is that they still are competing like crazy right now, and they have a very easy schedule coming up to their bye week.
Yeah, they should be 2-2. Let's be honest. The NFL screwed them. The refs saved Mahomes.
Sorry, after their bye week, not coming up to their bye week.
They should be 2-2.
I just want to say that. So, yeah, I have the Jets winning this game. I have a low-scoring game. I'm going to say 17-10.
I have 17-13. So 20-30.
To be honest, like, it sucks because if Russell plays like Russell and I see Cortland Sutton catch a ball and I see Jerry Jeudy play like Jerry Jeudy and see Cole Kmet do what they did that's Chicago. They don't have a tight end. They do, but they don't.
Albert Obekawar?
Yeah, I don't remember his name. But, yeah, I think they did.
They trade Obekawar?
I think they did. Here, I can look real quick. Jets, Denver, injuries. Tight end, they're running Adam Troutman. So
they might trade Frank Clark.
Dulcich was the one that's out indefinitely with a hamstring.
Yeah. Or Dulcich.
But I'm just saying, like, this is a winnable game. I don't think it's going to be a highly successful game. I do like Zach Wilson. And Garrett.
I like the defensive game, though. Actually, I agree with you. It's going to be a defensive game.
I think it's going to be a defensive game, but you're going to see beautiful flashes of Zach Wilson in this game. And if I didn't have to move Jonathan Taylor to my team, I was going to pick up Zach Wilson this week. Not to start, because I think under the tutelage of Aaron Rodgers, I'm starting to like Zach Wilson, and I hate to say that, but I am starting to like Zach Wilson.
I'm happy we agree at that aspect because I think Aaron Rodgers is the hype man that Zach Wilson needs. He needs somebody in his corner.
The team. I have never seen a team pick up a kid like this.
Yeah, after that loss, Zach Wilson just looked defeated. He took all the responsibility.
That might have been the best Zach Wilson could ever play, but the team didn't give up on him.
No. The team, they love that kid, and that's what I said on the Monday show. That cemented, that team rallied around him.
You did, I agree.
And that show, I think that'll come into fruition.
Speaking of shit shows, 4 o'clock game. Oh, by the way, those last 3 games were 4 o'clock games.
I like the Vikings.
4 o'clock game. Kansas City hasn't played an offense.
And guess what? And look at the defensive that.
But I bet you the over/under on this game is like 55.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't hate on Patrick Mahomes, but look at the defenses Patrick Mahomes has played and how well he's played. He hasn't played to top 5 quarterback potential.
52.5's the over. I'll take the over on this.
I'll take that. I think it's gonna be a 34-30, bud.
Kansas City's only favored by 3.5.
I think Vikings win.
I 42-30. Is that what you said? I like 42-35.
30-34.
I like 42-35 Minnesota.
Okay, I have 64 total points.
Rob, we're both slamming the over. It's going to be an under. Both times we did this season, the game was like 24 to like 21.
It could be, but do you start Addison?
After the last week, I just think he's a wide receiver 3 flex right now.
Yeah, until he gets more looks.
Yeah, Hawkinson is going off. JJ's going off. Madison looked decent.
I think this is a Kirk bounce back.
You might see Cam Akers in this game, in the receiving game.
Mm-hmm. I think this is a bounce back week for Kirk after last week.
I don't think he has to bounce back. He's like number 1 quarterback in the league right now.
If you looked at his
I said it.
Fantasy points, huh?
I see he's like the number 1 quarterback in the NFL right now.
He's 3 for me.
I said it.
I'm happy we agree. The problem, we're very
defenses don't matter to quarterbacks; they matter to wins, and that's my argument. Oh, you're not winning games. Congratulations.
Yeah,
there's a lot of quarterbacks that are going down in the Hall of Fame. Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl.
What about that one quarterback that played for the Jets?
Phillip Rivers.
Who is the one quarterback that played for the Jets who was really good? Holy shit!
I have no idea. Aaron Rodgers?
It's like a million years
He played for the
ago.
Jets for like 3 snaps.
This is like a million years ago.
I don't know.
He was mid.
I don't know.
He was bad.
Sanchez?
He's old.
How old?
Like wrinkly old.
Like does commercials?
Joe Namath.
It does commercials?
Joe Namath was not a good quarterback. I'm sorry, Aaron. I'm sorry, Jets fans, but Joe Namath was not a good quarterback.
I thought that's how far you were going back. Jesus criminy.
He's wrinkly old.
Yeah, the over on in this game is 52.5.
For over here.
I don't like the spread. I don't like the spread for 3.5. I think it could be a very close game. But I start everybody on Minnesota that I'm assuming you have to start Madison just because you have him.
You start Madison, you start Hawkinson, you start JJ, you start
Kirk. And then
low flex like I might flex.
I like KJ Osborne over Addison.
This game, yeah. The Vert game, yeah.
And then Kansas City, you're obviously going to start Patrick Mahomes. You're going to start Travis Kelce. I think you can start Pacheco. I think they're seeing him more in the run game.
I think this will be a CEH check down game.
I don't know about that. Pacheco's still, I think, the starter. So, but I think, who's their... Do you have to start Tony in this game?
Kadarius? No, the dude can't catch a cold, let alone pass.
You're basing that off one game.
I know. I don't like Tony. Tony is not a top one. He's a... See, so...
Sky Moore?
No, I think this is...
Can you start anybody in this wide receiver core in this game?
Rice.
Rasheed Rice?
Rasheed Rice. I think this is a Rasheed Rice rookie debut game.
You think?
I think this is a rookie debut game for Rasheed Rice.
Well, no, he actually went off
so the issue with the Chiefs right now is they don't have a starting wide receiver, not tight end. Kelsey's a tight end. They do not have a starting top wide receiver right now. And they have a whole bunch of B-, C+ level, I would say, wide receivers. There's no true number one on that team. And I think that's where Patrick Mahomes is struggling a bit with getting the ball out, is because some of these guys are not great route runners. They don't create the greatest separation, but they do get open from time to time. But Kelsey, they seem to be double covering a lot more. And they're able to do that because you know who you don't have to cover anymore is Tyreek Hill. I think a smart move for the Chiefs would be to trade for a wide receiver like a Marquise Brown. You know, a team that, maybe, I don't want to say tanking, but maybe looking to, rebuild the team in the future. I think that would be a smart trade. That the Chiefs need to trade for a true wide receiver one. Whether that's Marquise Brown, I don't know if you can label him a wide receiver one, or somebody else who may be available. But as of right now, that wide receiver room is not winning you a Super Bowl this year. Here's
what I will say. Based on snap percentages and shares, and I guarantee he's on your waivers, is Justin Watson.
Watson, not Ross.
Justin Watson. He is getting a snap percentage of 61%. He's been averaging about 40 to 45% all year. He only had 1 target last week, but 3, 5, and 4 prior to that. Sky Moore can't catch a cold. Kadarius Toney, he's been better since week 1. He's caught every single ball since week 1. Literally every single ball since week 1. I'm not shitting you.
Really?
5 for 5, 1 for 1, 2 for 2.
So who do you like in this game?
Rashee Rice is the guy, right?
I think this will be the rookie debut for Rashee
It's not a
Rice.
rookie debut. His rookie debut was against Chicago, 7 targets, 5 receptions, 59 yards, just no touchdown. He got a touchdown week 1. I think Rashee Rice is the one.
I think this is the 20,
and I said that in the
20
offseason.
to 25 point game for Rashee Rice.
I think you could go with Justin Watson as a sleeper pick.
Okay.
Or put him on your bench early now.
No.
Like now, don't like put him on your bench after the game. He's number 2 behind Marquez, but Marquez is, he's on the field 50%.
MVS he's wide receiver 3.
Yeah, he is, but he's a downfield guy, right? And okay, let's not even have a conversation about this. Don't start a wide receiver on this offense.
No,
because you can't.
It's
like starting a running back on the Patriots backfield, right? You can't.
That's what my whole little spiel was about. I can't trust any of these guys right now. None of them are number ones. None of them have true potential as the number ones.
We're going to get out of this. We're going to get right into the Sunday night football.
Raiders. Are the Raiders on a bye? Or no, they're on Monday.
What is wrong with you?
Sorry.
This is the game of the week. All right. You have the Dallas Cowboys at the San Francisco 49ers. Defense against defense.
We said that primetime games can't be games of the week. I think.
No, it's the game of the week because it's primetime. It's not my game of the week. I told you Denver Jets was my game of the week. And you're like, no. It's the one I want to watch. It is. It really is. So San Francisco wins this game in my mind, hands down.
Yeah,
because Dak has to throw the ball.
And you know what Dak's not good at?
Throwing the ball.
More than 30 times a game.
25. I don't even think he's thrown 30 times a game this year. Because that defense has been solid.
And that's the cop out for Dallas right now. Their defense is the reason they're 3-1. And
I lied. I guess he threw the ball 40 times in Arizona, 38 times on the Jets. Didn't they lose both those games? Oh, no, they won. They lost to Arizona. They beat the Jets.
What was the score against the Jets?
You know what? I lied. He's throwing the ball 32 times a game.
How many interceptions does he have?
Only one on the year this year.
And that was against Arizona, right?
Yeah. That's the one they lost. And I think they will turn over the ball here, too.
I think they do. I think this is the Dak, Dak turns the Dak game. I don't like Dak. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I think he has been saved by good offensive lines, Ezekiel Elliott, and great defenses, which has been shown as of right now. And that is nothing against Dak at all. It's just
100% against Dak.
I hate Dak. He's the most overrated quarterback.
It is 100% against Dak.
I'll take Kirk Cousins.
Well, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to stay on this game because this game matters, right? This game matters. I think Ayuk is questionable. He's questionable to start in this game, right?
Ayuk is the number 1 for that team. He has taken over. But
do you start him? Do you start him in this game?
You have to.
I'd start Debo over Ayuk in this game.
Ayuk healthy or Ayuk?
I don't care.
I like Ayuk more.
I think Debo's gadget players with good defenses are very hard to protect against.
Okay.
And that's why I like Debo in this game over Ayuk.
Okay.
And Ayuk has to prove to the world that he can play against. Sorry.
They don't have Trayvon Diggs.
That's not Trayvon Diggs to me is a worry for Brock Purdy. It's not a worry for Ayuk.
We said he's a big play guy.
Yeah.
He gives up the big plays, but he'll also make the big plays for interceptions.
Injuries in this game. Debo's probable ribs.
Is CMC injured yet?
Ayuk's not even on the injury report. Elijah Mitchell out, so it's CMC still.
Yep.
Did you see CMC's statement?
No.
He models his game after Frank Gore. He wants to play that long. And if that's great, I'll take him. If CMC can play till he's 42, I'm in. I'm in. Sell me CMC right now. I love everything CMC does.
The dude's a beast. When healthy,
just an FYI, my background to this game was going to be offensive MVP, defensive MVP. Because right now these two are number one in the MVP race for offense and defense. So that's why it's not Dak against Brock Purdy on the graphic. It's Micah against CMC because these guys are the playmakers in this game.
CMC is a fantasy football championship winner for your team. Do not trade him. Do not trade him.
Oh, by the way, this is the first game that the entire Dallas offensive line is coming back, playing together healthy this year. Okay. That matters. That matters.
Yeah, it does. A lot of those guys have not played together.
Yeah.
So it could be for good, it could be for bad. I have the Niners winning by a field goal.
So what do you have the score?
I have the score. Actually, no. I'll do 7
Because right now, the Niners are favored by 3.5.
27-20. I'll do a touchdown.
The over-under is 45. So 27-20. You took the over by 2. This game... I want to say that this game's weirdly going to be a blowout. I just don't see it. I'm taking the Niners in this game. I do like your score, though.
It's a weird game. You know, Brock Purdy.
It's weird because, like, these teams haven't shown up when they need to show up.
No, but they've gotten enough done to win.
But I will say San Francisco has won every game they were supposed to win.
But this is the first game that you see CMC go up against a true great defense.
Arizona's defense played very good.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying
CMC is just that good.
Yeah. Well, I agree, but this will be...
I have CMC under 100 yards in this game. I have him under 60, actually.
This will add padding to CMC for offensive MVP.
Right? I do hate this game betting-wise.
I stay away from this game. I don't touch this game. I don't touch this game point-wise. I don't.
This is such a good... This is like the Jets-Denver game, right? Like, they're so evenly matched.
It's going to be a good game. This is a good Sunday night football game. It's a very good Sunday night
football game. And you have to watch this game. You 100%. Have to watch this game. Because this game could be the NFC title game.
Oh, 100%.
Brock Purdy, over 300 yards in this game?
No.
I'm predicting it.
That's a lot.
It's going to be Yak.
So
it's going to be CMC. It's going to be Debo.
Ayuk.
No. It's going to be CMC. It's going to be Debo. It's going to be Kittle.
Okay, yeah, they haven't used Kittle that much. He's been injured.
And Kittle's going to get used because if Micah releases off Kittle, he's going to be wide open. I think that's the play move that the 49... And Shanahan's not stupid. He knows.
He'll scheme for it.
He knows he's going to scheme Kittle open because that's the guy they're going to have a hard time
Don't
covering.
Be surprised if you see don't be surprised if you see Kyle, who's the fullback for
Juszczyk?
Yeah, Juszczyk out there on the side that Michael Parsons is coming in at.
Yeah, I can see Juszczyk, the fullback, stepping in and kind of giving a little more protection to Brock Purdy. There's so much I can talk about in this game, but
it's also it's a weird game to talk about
because everything could go the opposite way.
Yeah, it's one of those games that it's either going to be one-sided or super close.
Do we like? I picked up Michael Gallup. I like him in this game
over Brandon Cooks. Is Brandon Cooks still hurt?
No, I think Brandon Cooks is healthy.
He hasn't been what all the Dallas fans said he was going to be, but we knew that.
He's not on the list. He's not on the list.
I think
I like Michael Gallup though.
I do too because he has the pedigree with Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like Michael Gallup.
I could definitely see that 100%. I like both these teams are going to be slinging the ball.
Yeah, I think they have to.
Whether it's to CMC and Pollard, whether it's to your wide receivers.
So the question is, what does Pollard do?
I don't know if either of these teams have more than 80 rushing yards.
See, I'm in agreement with you there.
I don't know if they do.
I think CMC will have the yards all-purpose, but it'll be check downs.
And that's how I am with Pollard. I don't know if with these
I completely agree. But Pollard's not the receiver. It's Rico Dowdle.
So maybe this is a Rico Dowdle
No,
game.
I don't know. I won't say that. I won't not. But, it could be a deuce game.
Deuce Vaughn, yeah.
They might utilize him as a gadget player in this game.
I don't see either of the running backs getting more than 80 yards right now. It's just it's with those defensive lines.
That's why I said it's the secondary. That's why I like Brock Purdy for over 300. I would even take Dak for over 300 in this game.
I see where you're coming from now. You know, I would have to agree with that just because of the defensive line side.
Let's be more realistic, right? 250 and 275.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be more realistic. 300's hard in this day and age for some reason. It's a high pass offense, but it seems to be hard in this day and age. I'm gonna do some research on this. I'm gonna dig in deep, and I want to see what I can find for bets in this because I think it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be
fun. That being said, we'll get into quarterbacks Monday.
Yeah.
Who did you take to win this game?
I'm taking
the Niners to go undefeated, 5-0.
I am too.
I think that.
Will they be the only 5-0 team left?
No, it'll be Philly. I think we had Philly. We had Philly losing that game by a point. So yeah, they'd be the only 5-0 team left,
which is fitting for a Shanahan team.
Yeah, I mean, Philly can go 5-0. They easily can go 5-0 today.
I feel like it's a trap game for them. They're going to go in.
I agree. I don't disagree with you on that at all. All right, that being said, takeaways for the weekend. What do you got?
Enjoy your weekend. Browns aren't on, so I can enjoy mine a little bit more than the last couple of weeks.
We won't lose. Yes.
We do not lose. Ohio State won a very bad game, but we will be back tomorrow at 5:30.
Should be. Yeah. I don't think I have any OT. Playing golf in the morning.
I would look. The games you're going to want to watch today is the Cardinals-Bengals game. I think the Texans-Falcons game and the Niners-Dallas game. Those are the three games I'm going to be watching tonight or today.
I'm definitely going to watch the Steelers-Ravens game.
Yeah. Well,
I'm going to watch the Denver-Jets game.
I don't like that game.
I know you don't.
I don't like that game.
I know, but Denver's been playing better. Now, granted, they're not playing anybody, but they've been playing better, so a confidence boost. And then on top of that, you have the Jets, who, like I just told you, if they win, playoff run's not out of the question.
No.
It's not. Because that defense is good enough to keep them in games. So
it's an 18-week season. We're only 5 games. 17 weeks.
17 games per team, but like 18 weeks.
Yeah, it's we're not even a quarter way in.
So no, we are a quarter way in. This is a quarter. Week 5 is a quarter.
Oh yeah, technically we're not a quarter yet. After this week we will be.
Well, technically we're a quarter because 4.5 weeks is a quarter. You can't count an off week. I agree, but Thursday happened, so we're a quarter.
I guess yeah, you're right.
We're a quarter in.
You're right.
All right. As always. That being said, I hope you guys really do have a wonderful Sunday. If you guys are winning big, I'd love to hear from you guys in the chat. I know you guys, it's early on Sundays. The game already started. I don't even know what the score is.
I think it's still 0-0.
But that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace out.
Later.